Hi guys, this is the advisor and welcome back to my channel. Today I would like us to examine the situation which led up to the demise of Chantel Blake-McCalla by her husband Shane McCalla. Based on all the situations that I've seen so far, it is obvious to me that her life could have been saved. But poor Chantal didn't know what signs to look for. And when she found the signs or realized what they were, it was too late. And worst of all, much worst of all, when she decided to get out, she did it the worst way anybody could try to escape from the clutches of a murderous control freak. Now, this video is a learning experience. I expect it to be a learning tool that women will use in order to avoid getting themselves in the same situation that Chantal had gotten herself in, and hopefully I will be saving a few innocent women's lives. Guys, they say knowledge is power, and if you want to be powerful, this video, as a woman especially, is one that you should actually watch and listen and learn from to protect yourself. But before going any further, I would like to call on the Minister of Gender Affairs, Grange, Olivia Bobsy Grange. I also believe she is the one who is the head of the Bureau of Women's Affairs. I would like her to start a bureau within her ministry that actually caters for the welfare of battered women. And the aspect of it I would like her to look into is to teach women the signs to look out for and give them an escape route and protect them. And it would be so well if she could name this agency after Chantel Blake. And before I tell you guys how to escape from an abusive relationship such as the one that Chantal was in, I need to tell you how not to enter one in the first place. A stitch in time saves 9. Not how it go? These murderous control freaks, they give off some signals very early in the game. First, they start by moving the relationship very fast. Once they meet you and you agree for a date and you start dating, they want to come home with you. They want you to come and live with them. They want to get deeply involved in your life from the outset. They are so controlling that they're going to want to see you every day. They want to see you every night, and they might even want to they'll be moving the relationship very fast. Once you meet them and you go on dates, then they're going to want to see you every single day and want to see you every single night. They start calling you every day, wanting to know where you are, who you are with, and their excuse is that they just miss you. They're just in love with you. They just miss you. And for most women, this can seem very flattering at first. Very flattering, because they say, yes, women want to be loved and women want attention. But at the same time, be very, very careful from the beginning when they start getting clingy. Because as a woman, once you feel that he needs you that badly, you're going to try your best to accommodate him. Because the attention you're getting might be just worth it, even though it's kind of annoying hearing him calling you all the time, want to know where you are, how you are doing, if you eat yet, and so on and so forth. And this is one of the first ways that a control freak traps you. Because before you know it, he has taken control of your life without you even realizing that it's happening or that it had happened. As soon as you move in with him, he starts to give you instructions on what you should do, how you should do it, what you should wear, how you should dress, what you shouldn't wear, and so on and so forth. And his reason for doing it is that he cares about you so deeply and he wants the best for you. That is the angle he is going to take. And over time, this will increase because this behavior will increase over time. So gradually, you'll just lose your individuality without even realizing that you're no longer a unique individual in your own right, but merely an extension of him. And of course, men like this are very clingy. They will tend to call you regularly, text you throughout the day. At first, you will stop up all the attention, but over time, it will become overwhelming when you begin to realize that you have gained him, but you are gradually losing you. And if you reach that point and you try to push back by telling him that the many phone calls and his constant checking on you is unnecessary, he will say things that make you feel that you are being ungrateful, like the after all I've done for you argument. Because he wanted to look like you are the problem, not him. And of course, at the same time, he will begin to show signs of hypersensitivity and jealousy. He will start asking about the men you interact with, like even your neighbor, your co-workers, mutual members of any society or organization that you and any male belong to. He wants to know who is this one, who is that one, why you need to speak with him, and what you're speaking to him about. Also, he'll start going through your social media pages and ask you about the men that are on your friends list, especially those little comments or jokes that they might make under your post. He'll become so sensitive to small non-issues and try to make a Cape C 3-piece out of it. You know what we call a Cape C 3-piece in Jamaica? It's a big deal, right? As far as he's concerned, any opinion of his is gospel and should be followed rigidly. After all, Daddy knows best. He thinks that his opinion are also your opinion. Therefore, he will come down hard on himself or you for daring to disagree with himself. He thinks you should be breathing through his nostril. And if you cannot breathe through his nostrils, then you have got to die. You're not even fit to live. Another red flag you should look out for is that he will follow your eyes whenever you go out. He is checking to see if you are looking at other men. If any old acquaintances speak to you on the street, he will want to know how you met them, how long you have known them, what kind of interactions you have had with them before. He might even go as far as to ask you if you have ever been to bed with them, which is of course none of his goddamned business, since that was before his time. In a sense, you are living through your own individual version of North Korea. They are conceited and narcissistic egomaniacs who think that they are always right. But even though they consider themselves as always right, that does not necessarily mean that you are always wrong. You are always right whenever you agree with him. And there is one very dark, inborn, manipulative technique that these persons doesn't even have to study psychology to know. They just go into it naturally. And this is known as the passive-aggressive manipulative technique. When he cannot have his way, or you put up any resistance, he will sulk and play the victim, making you feel like you're the one who's being unreasonable. Yes, they are good at playing mind games. But worst of all is how they isolate you. One of the linchpin behavior of these people is the isolation that they put the victim through. Nothing gives greater comfort to a control freak than the knowledge that their partner takes guidance and support exclusively from him. Therefore, he will try to shield you from any outside influence. He sees everyone on earth as a threat to his control of you. And by outside influence, I mean not only your closest friends or people you grew up with, but even your siblings, that is your brother and your sisters, and even your very own parents. He feels that anyone else being around you threatens the level of control he has over you. And as part of this isolation, he might even ask you to give up your job. He sees your job as a threat to his dominance over you. After all, at work, you are going to have a boss, someone to whom you are obliged to take instructions from. And despite that being in the context of a workplace, it does not matter. In his view, he will never have total control of you until you do not have any other boss except him. Now, by the time Shane had used all these techniques on her and she not seeing the red flags in the beginning, she will have been totally broken. She will even begin to question her own motives for wanting to be her own person. She might even start to explore the idea that he might have been totally correct all along. Because by this time, he will have stopped her will. He has made her into an extension of himself. Everybody else that she held dear in her life becoming the enemy. And, they will make like a comment like, you are nothing without me. I put you where you are, and so on and so forth. But in Shane McCalla's case, it got worse. He is the ultimate example of his kind. One important aspect of this method of control that he orchestrated against Chantel was her pregnancy. They had 4 children together in about 8 years. He knew that tying her down with pregnancies, which lead to antenatal care and then child care, etc., was a most effective form of control. Therefore, I doubt that his having these many kids was because he actually loved children. I think it was merely a tool, a means to an end. Because he also knew that she was a very maternal person. Therefore, her love for her children was expected to overcome the loathsome feelings she had for him and keep her tied to him at least until the last child was 18 years old, at a minimum. But it was only a matter of time before Chantel realized what she was in and wanted to get out. But when she did, she should have treaded very, very, very carefully. Because after grooming her so effectively over several years, he was never going to give up control so easily. At this point, and to where he had taken her, he would be willing to kill. Now, here is what Chantel did wrong. She told him she was going to leave. That, I think, was a fatal mistake. I mean, after grooming her for about 8 years, that was totally unacceptable. She went as far as to write him a letter telling him that she is no longer interested in the marriage. Writing him this now famous letter is in and of itself one of the worst things she could ever do. Not that she couldn't send him this letter, but she should have done it after she had moved and gone. Them have a saying, when your hand in a lion mouth, you take time dry it out. Is it that Chantel didn't realize that it was a blooming lion she dealing with? A Satan picnic herself she dealing with? No, what Chantel should have done, and I want you ladies to listen and listen good. Listen to this, because this can save your life when you're dealing with the other Shane McCallas out there, because quite a number of them are out there. The evening before she left, she should have cooked him the very best meal she could cook. Feed him properly. Love him up as best as she can. Say yes sir, no sir to him. And when you go to bed that night, give him the best grind you ever gave him in him life. Let him leave for work next morning feeling like a king and feel like all is right with the world. But as soon as he leave the house, everything that had been put in place over the previous weeks and months would have tripped in. The moving truck that would have been on standby would turn up. The bank accounts would have already been cleaned out. The new residence would have already been acquired and furnished. Arrangements would have already been made with the school for the kids to be picked up early. And also, most importantly, the family court would have been contacted and a protection order taken out against him to be served on him that same day at his office or as soon as possible afterwards. That is why I say, if I had ever been a part of Chantel's support system and was privy to the situation, most probably she would have been alive today, because she would have done things differently. Well, if she had followed my instructions. Not to say that this monster wouldn't have tried to dirt her somewhere along the line, but his lack of access to her would have made it difficult to do, or make it easier for him to be caught if he tried it. Finally, ladies, here is the most crucial piece of advice you will ever get when it comes to dealing with an abusive relationship. If he ever hits you, tell somebody. Tell a few selective persons. And when you do, let them know that you have told people. This would give you two advantages. And here are the two purposes it will serve. It will shame him into not doing it again, because he will be concerned about how others see him, and he wouldn't want people to see him that way, especially members of your relatives or his friends or anybody who he knows. Just remember that narcissists like him, how people view him is very important to him. And secondly, those people you told will form a shield around you, this protective shield, like the wings of batfink. This is one of the best protection you have against physical abuse. A lot of women hide the fact that they are being beaten from everyone, even their closest family members, and that is the most fatal mistake an abused wife can make. How can her family protect her if they do not know she needs protection? I repeat, if you get hit by him, talk. And guys, if you think this is simple, I want you to go on YouTube and I want you to type in fatal attraction. You're going to see hundreds upon hundreds of documentaries come up about women who are killed by their spouses. And one of the most common denominator between all these is that the woman had been abused for many years in most cases and is trying to get out. But as far as he is concerned, the only way out is foot first. And one final thing. After leaving, do not, I repeat, do not speak with him. You can communicate with him, yes, but through an intermediary, somebody that you both trust. That trusted individual will liaise between yourself and him in all matters, if such a need exists. But as I sit here recording this, I cannot think of any unfinished business you both might have that cannot be done through a third person. But if it somehow becomes necessary, tell him to meet you at the police station and travel with at least one family member. Share this video with all the women you know. Remember now, knowledge is power. Let Chantel Blake-McCalla be the last woman in Jamaica to make such a fatal mistake. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Like, share, and leave a comment below. And I look forward to seeing you in my next video.